Temperatures are in the middle to upper 80s, and of course the big thing for many of us was just the heat today, unless you happen to be just south of New Orleans, in which case you were seeing large hail like this picture from Tom Forehand, near golf ball sized hail. I showed you more pictures earlier in the newscast, but I just wanted to point out the hail tracker is thankfully showing that big hail core with possible quarter to golf ball size hail, indicated by the yellows and oranges on radar right at or just south of Belle Chase. Now kind of just drifting. This was almost a stationary storm, just a little bit of a drift out to the west. And so there is still a possibility for some small hail. We do also see the heaviest rain with those hot pinks. And like I showed you earlier, that really high precipitation rate in that one tiny part of the storm very briefly of 7 inches per hour. Not going to produce 7 inches for these areas, but just that one precipitation rate that was so high, it's now backing off a little bit. So this is going to likely kind of lose steam and lose its energy and probably weaken within the next maybe half hour to hour or so. We also have another little storm off the coast of the Biloxi Marshes and St. Bernard Parish, but we also have our eye on that system to the north, and this is kind of one of these outflow boundaries, these lines of storms that form up and very quickly shoot out from certain spots where they're generated, and they can sometimes intensify, like right now with so much heating. You saw those severe thunderstorm watch boxes out, and this is what we might see. Now this is just tentative, but I wanted to show you our high resolution model as we move through the evening, tracking both things. First of all, quieting down in our immediate area over the next hour or two, but also starting to see some rain maybe pushing toward us by this time. Now I paused it here at 11 because we have the total lunar eclipse tonight happening, especially about 10:30 it gets going, and the peak is at 11 p.m. So I did want to point out it should be mostly pretty good. We might have a few clouds, but I think it should be fairly good viewing for most of us tonight, and it should be a pretty spectacular thing to see. I think I'm excited to see it myself. But this could take us toward about 2 or 3 or 4 a.m. with some rain moving in. Likely would be sub-severe and not reaching severe levels, but could bring some brief heavy rain and lightning and thunder to spots as it moves from north to south. This is the day tomorrow, by the way, 7:30 p.m. Our model wants to bring in a little bit more rain, kind of later in the day like we saw yesterday and today, or Friday and today. Here's another model, by the way. I just wanted to show you the different trends. This one has it kind of weakening a good bit. It still has a few showers by about 2 a.m., especially off to the east around Mississippi, but not as active with this particular model. So different ways that different models kind of calculate what's happening right now and what's going to happen in the future. But I would say we have a chance for some storms overnight. It has the same trend, by the way, quiet tomorrow until we get to late afternoon and early evening, 5 p.m. or so. Starting to see some scattered rain, mostly just kind of ramping up and down pretty fast as we get past sunset. So our next few hours take us through the 70s. We're not expecting a whole lot more rain at the moment, but late tonight after midnight, as we were saying, we'll have our temperatures by then closer to about 72 or so, or maybe bottoming out in the morning near 68 north of the lake, and a pretty decent chance for a few overnight storms. Tomorrow, we'll keep the rain chance near 30% or so, but it's so late in the day, we'll probably still be able to get up to about 89 or 90 degrees. Here is the total lunar eclipse timeline for tonight. The partial eclipse gets going around 9:30. 10:29 p.m. is where the total eclipse begins, starts to take on that reddish glow and reaches the maximum eclipse at 11:11 p.m. and it should still look pretty good until the total eclipse ends at 11:53, and then partial eclipse ends at near 1 a.m. And remember, this is the total lunar eclipse setup. We have the sun's rays shining toward the Earth casting a shadow though over the moon and making it have this reddish glow. We have the sunlight kind of moving through the Earth's atmosphere or around kind of the Earth's atmosphere, and the atmosphere has so many particles it kind of filters out the blues and purples and allows the longer wavelengths, the reds, to get all the way to the moon. So something kind of cool to see tonight. And as we move into the rest of this week, we start to get this kind of pattern back again. We've had the chance for rain lately, but this week we will have the high back. That will make it hot and dry. And then as we get into the end of the week, that high shifts east, opens us up for southerly winds, making it a little more humid, and also a little surface front will get near us to maybe spark a few showers and thunderstorms Saturday and Sunday.
LSU baseball hasn't been swept in Baton Rouge by Ole Miss ever. They're looking to avoid that today, and Jarvis Landry is officially a Saint. We'll have more on the homecoming coming up next in sports.